I'll go ahead and play the level. Is as we come in
Find the
here.
purple magic portal to escape.
Okay, yeah, just some background music I have, or audio that plays. Okay, so this floating sphere right here, with the green smoke coming out of there, I wanted that to be, essentially it's going to be like a poison gas ball. And this sphere component here I'm using is to detect my overlap. In fact, I'll just go to the output and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So my player starts with 500 health. Whenever I overlapped, I get poisoned. And I'll go through all the functionality in just a second. But so what essentially I want to do is I come in here, and as I stay overlapped, my FTimerHandle, which I'll get into in this video, is it's doing a countdown. At every so many seconds that I'm in here, it's subtracting 10 off of that health. And then as I leave, you can see I stopped overlapping the poison spiked ball. Okay, then that, which kills that timer handle, and I'll show you that code in just a second. But as I come up, I'm overlapping, and all of a sudden we start to count down again. Okay, so now I'll get into the code. So as I bring up here, this is actually the health component that's taking the damage, but this is the floating spiked ball. And let me close down some files here. What I have is my header file here, and I'll show you the CPP file in just a second. Excuse me. Right here I have the dynamically bound functions, where we're calling where if we have an actor that overlaps or end overlapping that sphere component. Let me back up here a little bit. The sphere component is actually, this floating spiked ball is actually a derivative, not derivative, a child of this floating actor that I called or created, where there's a mesh component and this is the mesh component, and then the sphere component, and then from there, of course, I derived, I guess, the floating spiked ball, which is what you see on the screen. So I'll get into the timer handle. So what I wanted to do was essentially create a timer where, like, obviously if you stay in the poison gas, the longer you stay in that poison gas, the more, health will be subtracted off the character. So here's our FTimerHandle. Just created a generic, just good old FTimerHandle. Called it poison gas damage timer handle. Call whatever you want as long as you know what it is. And then when you get over to the floating spiked ball, okay. So what do we, how are we gonna use this FTimerHandle, this object, to help us in our project? So what I have here is I have this overlap sphere component, which is basically that on component begin overlap. So if I go up here, the collision sphere, this is that. If I go back out to that's this guy right here. If I can't break it down the individual, this kind of ring around. This is my stack mesh, obviously, and then we got our sphere component right here. That's the sphere component. On component begin overlap, right? This is that dynamic bind that we have with the function. That's going to call this overlap sphere component. This is the function pointer. It's going to call this function, right? And so now we come down here, whenever we overlap the sphere component, we do our if checks to see if there's if the other actor is valid, and it's not, we're checking that it's not this, right? Then that's, someone to overlap, I basically put UE logs throughout my code just to kind of like a sanity check to make sure functions are firing correctly. And then once we get down to here, I actually take that other actor and I cast it into a kind of the main, basically this is the FPS character you get kind of out of the box, with the Unreal Engine, the first person shooter. And then so I cast it to that, and then if we do our if check, of course, it'll get that character is overlapping. And then this is kind of where I got mixed up on other. So I get this Get World Timer Manager set timer. This poison gas damage timer handle, you can actually pass into another you have another function pointer here, but the function pointer cannot take any arguments the way this set timer handle is set up. And that was kind of messing me up because what I was trying to do was pass this other actor into this apply poison gas damage, I had right in here, I had the parameter of another actor being passed in there. But the way the engine code is set up, you can't actually do that. So you have to just any type of when you're going to this the definition of this. Hopefully it doesn't. So you pass in your timer handle. This is your object, and then you can pass in one of the overloads allows you to pass in this function pointer, which would be the supply point gas a poison gas damage, and then this is that 2-second interval. So it'll happen every 2 seconds, and that's what this true is for it to loop. So if this is happening, this will get called, right? And then so we'll start. This is that gameplay statics apply point damage. This is basically what you do out of Blueprint. Just anything. The Kismet library is what you access for the Blueprint specific functionality in the C++ side, and then it's apply point damage. And of course you're passing in the other characters. Just a sec, my phone's going off. And then, what was happening though on my last video is this timer handle kept on hitting, okay? And then even if I left the poison gas collision sphere, and so what I need to do is create another function, which is end overlap sphere component. So when my character steps back out of the poison gas sphere, what we do is we get that get world timer manager, and we clear that poison gas damage timer handle, so it's no longer ticking, right? It's no longer firing every 2 seconds and calling that apply point, that poison gas damage, and so it resets that timer handle. So this actually worked out pretty good. Let me clear all this stuff. So as we fire up our game here, clear a log.
Find the purple magic portal to escape.
Okay. Well, normally at runtime that character spawns with 500 health, but we can see, like, obviously, the ball's overlapping and coming out. So as my character comes up, boom, it knows it's a character, and it's subtracting that 490. It's subtracting 10. It's applying that poison gas. I put it at 10, so it's subtracting, right? 460, 450, 440. Okay. Now I stopped overlapping. Our character stopped overlapping the poison spike ball. No more ticking, right? No more ticking. Cleared the timer. Now I come back in. Boom. It's going to go right back to subtracting that. So, anyway, I kind of troubleshooted that on my own a little bit. Also, went to the Unreal forums. Those guys helped out a little bit too. But I wanted to see if I could help other people out. This is actually going to be this rotating thing is going to be a big spiked, obstacle. But yeah, on component hit, that's I guess people always kind of have trouble with that in C++. I might do a video on that later. But as you can see, this to detect that someone's hit. Obviously, you can get the functionality from being hit by the spinning rod here. So and all right. Thank you for watching.